This is Jason Patrick. Welcome to the Frog Brothers Podcast.
Welcome back to Haunted by Tapes with the Frog Brothers Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Frog Bros Podcast. My name is Justin.
This is Haunted by Tapes with the Frog Brothers Podcast. I'm Alec.
I'm Nick.
You're still Nick?
Tonight we're talking Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Tits. Ghost.
From 1999.
It's a glorious movie. I watched this growing up. I was the perfect age for it. It is a sequel to Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, which was at the time an experimental movie, a one-off. And they definitely gave them less creative freedom on this movie, apparently. They brought in new producers and people to help them make it, one of them being David A. Goodman, who was a big... apparently he's a big Star Trek nerd, but he wrote the Star Trek episodes of Futurama. He worked on Family Guy and other stuff, too.
Nice.
He helped create the Hex Girls, apparently. What the fuck does that say?
So, fun fact, the gentleman, Scott Innes, who voiced Shaggy in this particular film.
Yeah, this is his first time playing Shaggy, because Billy West played him in Zombie Island, and he was busy with Futurama, so they recast him.
Yep, and he's from Poplar Bluff, Missouri, of all places.
He did a good job.
Yeah, he was fine. He did Scooby and Shaggy. I thought his Scooby was really good.
Yeah.
His Shaggy, it was okay. It was fine.
I like the museum. Again, the artwork for this is very extreme Ghostbusters, like you were saying.
Tim Curry is fucking great in this, too.
Yes. The opening little mummy scene there, and Ben Ravencroft shows up. Sort of a Stephen King parody, but also not just Stephen King, kind of like,
Yeah, because he lives in New England and...
It's like kind of that, like...
Popular, very popular, like, pop culture horror icon writer, basically.
Yeah, drop in anyone's name here for that, right? For a kid's generation, you may say that that's like R.L. Stine, which we'll get back to later.
Name the other ones. Dean Koontz.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Justin had to drop R.L. Stine, like, I know horror writers. R.L. Stine, like...
No, that was a segue for the top 5 we'll talk about later.
A segue? You mean a foreskin shadowing? Or should we do it now?
We're not doing the top 5 first? What?
No, we went right into it.
Oh, my God.
We went all the way inside.
You got to have your appetizer
Billy Ray
before the main
Cyrus
course.
does the theme song for this.
Which I got to tell you, I didn't know it was Billy Ray Cyrus, and I fucking hated it.
Scooby-Doo,
Yeah, I knew it was-
where are you?
It was
But
definitely
got some
country-ish.
peanut butter.
If you can lick it off, Scooby-Doo, I won't tell nobody.
Was he Elvis
No,
now?
I got a mystery to solve, so Scooby-Doo,
Could
lick
be.
it off my sack.
That'd be more like,
Don't talk back.
You ain't nothing but a hound dog, licking on my balls. You ain't nothing but a hound dog.
and we're back.
And shit all over my chest.
Damn.
Wow. That just got
Well, see,
wild.
it's supposed to be like you cut back to...
Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
It'd be like, if we were to go to just a...
And the
And,
whole fucking mess you got to clean up. You got to have a towel. You got to have a fucking
And it technically
soap bottle.
isn't bestiality. Technically. So, we're good there.
Depending on who you talk to, I don't think it's going to qualify as that.
Yeah.
The dog's scared to come in here.
And that's why Nick is not
all
allowed to
this
dog
talk.
sit Booger anymore.
Right. That's what you come back with for sure.
Doggy's a good doggy.
They go to this town, Oakhaven, where
Is that a real town?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Sounds like one.
Sarah Ravencroft, the witch,
The bitch.
supposedly accused witch from 1657. She was a Wiccan. Has the journal. We get introduced to all that concept. We get introduced to the ripoff of the Jaws mayor.
Don't compare me to the George.
There's some
Clooney.
heavy vibes from this movie that I feel really kind of got played up heavy in Paranorman, just with that witch being like locked away and things like that. Yeah, it's a fun one.
And then we get the first mention of the Hex Girls, and talk about the Autumn Fest there, and they're introduced to the town. Shaggy finds that boot buckle is what he thinks it is.
Mm-hmm.
Puts it on his fucking shoe or whatever, like an ass.
Yeah.
Like a
And then they go and eat.
like a pilgrim.
Mm-hmm.
Or a leprechaun. They have buckles on their shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're thinking time-appropriate shoes that would have had that sort of buckle.
He kind of tells them the backstory about Sarah, and it's like showing an innocent-looking woman, and he's making out her not to be a bad person.
But she is a cunt.
Yeah, referencing, obviously, Salem witch trial shit a little bit, but not directly, obviously, just kind of influenced by, but turning it on its head a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they specifically referenced that, but maybe not.
They might have dropped a hint.
I think Velma brings it out.
Probably she would.
I didn't care for the her voice in this.
Velma's?
Yeah.
This woman's only been playing Velma since like 1980, some early year.
Yeah, no, but I just hadn't seen a lot of stuff with her in it, right? Just compared to the original.
Does she
so
always-
for me, it was hard
does she
to...
always-
She's one of the longest running Velma actors. I love her.
Does she always sound the same?
I
Pretty
mean,
much. She's
maybe
been
if
doing
I-
it since the
Reagan era.
the 80s.
You're talking
at least.
about someone, though, that I've watched mostly the original cartoons, so I haven't watched a lot of the made-for-TV movies and a lot of the movies, so...
But I mean, how does Velma's voice bother you more than like a Scooby-Doo's voice being different? Because honestly, that's the thing that always gets me is Scooby-Doo's always... They have so many fucking people playing Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Bothers me. I mean, most of them are pretty good, though.
Isn't
So
that,
even
isn't
but, like,
that easier to mimic than...
I would say so.
Shaggy's even worse. Like, if you go from a bunch of different people, if you heard them all next to each other, you're like, holy fuck, this is
It's
yikes.
drastically different, but yeah.
But I don't mind any of the people that I've heard really portray the people. So whatever.
It just felt off to me, but that's basically based off my knowledge of the cartoons, so...
Yeah.
You kind of get...
I'm sorry, I've seen more Scooby-Doo than you, apparently.
Yeah,
get-
there's a lot of movies that I was outgrown for when you were watching these.
you
like
get the
what?
Where Are
None of
You
those.
voices stuck in your head.
2 of those are just episodes of the first series. And then Scooby-Doo Goes Hollywood came out in 1989. Or 86 even. 87, somewhere in there.
Yeah, we weren't
Scooby-Doo
putting any
meets
of that.
Harvey Weinstein.
Jesus.
Fucking mashup of the century right there.
Um,
Kevin Smith might help you write that one.
and then Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School, Brewers, and Reluctant Werewolf were the late 80s also.
Yeah, we just weren't watching those. Like they didn't have any way to watch them. I think they played that shit on Cartoon Network a lot when you were growing up, didn't it?
When I was growing up, yeah. But they also played them on wherever they played Scooby-Doo before.
Oh, I just wasn't watching it then.
Or
So.
in theaters or everywhere else and shit. So
I mean, I'd watch Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And some pup named Scooby-Doo. When I'd go to my friend's house, it had Cartoon Network before we had it.
How about the Scooby-Doo Kids or whatever the fuck it was? What was it?
A pup named Scooby-Doo.
I don't know if that
just
played on
talked about.
Cartoon Network.
Oh, that's right. That's
But
what it
like
was.
early on anyway.
For some reason, I was thinking Scrappy when you said that.
But I guess it probably would have because Cartoon Network was just the Hanna-Barbera network, basically. So that checks out. The Hex Girls are played by Jennifer Hale, who was a Cartoon Network veteran and is in the Guinness World Book of Records for the most characters voiced in a video game by a woman, I think.
Nice. Fun little fact.
Is in lots of games and shows and everything is easily recognizable. And then Jane Redlin played Dusk, and she's the guitarist for the Go-Go's.
Nice.
And Kimberly Brooks played Luna. She's also another big-time voice actor. Was in a bunch of... she was in Dexter's Lab as Mimi, which is not a character you guys would know, but it was basically a... Dee Dee was a sister character of Dexter, and Mimi was like the black version of her. She was her friend. And she would hang out with a black friend that was dressed and looked exactly like her and kind of act like her, but the black version of her. Kind of, I don't know, whatever. But she's a black woman, and she did a lot of voice acting, and it's a lot of cool shit, too. So, pretty awesome additions to the voice cast, along with Tim Curry, obviously.
Obviously. Tim Curry's fucking great in this.
And, yeah. The mayor's creeping around. They see that in the forest. This is after they encounter the Hex Girls in the woods, and Daphne and Fred follow Thorn and they'd see her doing some witch shit, a spell maybe or something. Just Wiccan shit that girls do that are Wiccan.
I feel like this movie did so much to like reinforce everyone of your generation's love for the goth lady.
Oh yeah, these characters came back several times in other Scooby-Doo movies because people loved them so much. The Hex Girls are back in other movies too.
Nice.
And they did pop figures of them last year. Like, so they're still a thing. And let's see.
Never got their own spin-off though, huh?
I guess not. Shaggy and Scooby are chased by the witch outside the food place or whatever. They run into the rest of the gang, and then they go in the woods again. No, that's the second time they're chased by the witch, isn't it? Oh, fuck.
I don't even remember. I didn't take amazing notes for this.
Shaggy and Scooby fuck with their instruments on stage. That was funny.
Yeah, that was good and then they get caught too.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, what are you doing?
Scooby puts his balls on the drum set.
Yeah. Gotta teabag your drums. Well, they got cut off.
Oh, that's true. I guess Shaggy did it.
He may still have him in a pouch.
Like Zoinks! Did you get a job at a makeup counter, Scoob?
That's amazing.
You gonna sell me some Revlon? Booger likes the Shaggy voice.
Yeah, you like the red lipstick, don't you?
Yes. Let's see. Basically, the witch attacks them all, and they end up fucking up the witch and discovering that it's the pharmacist, and that it's actually just a ploy by the entire town, or at least, some of the figureheads to make more money. And yeah, basically Jaws.
Yeah, exactly.
They discover the buckle is from a book, perhaps.
We cannot forget, though, that we discover that Sally's dad's the ghost who is the pharmacist.
Yeah. I mean, I said Mr. McKnight, I think.
Oh, okay.
I guess I could have clarified, but her name is Sally Thorne McKnight. Thorne's her fake stage name. They go back to the cut-down oak tree and realize, oh, yeah, it's a cut-down oak tree, and there's one in the picture. I was looking for one that was still standing, but it was cut down years ago. So, Scooby, dig here, and he finds the book. And we discover that Tim Curry's character, Ben Ravencroft, is actually an asshole. And he's like, fuck you, I'm bringing the switch back, and I'm going to be fucking powerful wizard. I'm going to fuck some shit up.
Warlock.
Yeah.
Yeah, he calls himself a warlock.
That's a
I'm a
male
warlock.
witch.
Yeah, a lot of people don't
He's a
know
witch.
that. I just think every time I hear warlock, I just think Dick Warlock, the name.
Yeah, so
Dick
basically
Warlock.
she's imprisoned in her book, and he, fucks them up with some shit, and then lets her out. And that's when the fun begins, because she does some shit that's awesome, like those pumpkin monsters. Mm-hmm. I love those things.
Yeah.
Those are animated. This movie's animated great, but
When
I
they
love
have
little
just
monsters.
a little bit of the digital animation in there for some lighting effects and stuff, but not enough to be disgusting.
the fucking giant turkey and shit.
Yeah.
6-foot turkey.
More like a 6-foot turkey. The point is, you are alive when they start to eat you.
When they start to fuck you. Then there's the Ghostbusters sky.
Mm-hmm. Of course, you always got to have that. I mean,
Somebody
any
get me
spooky
the
movie, it's like a
Ghostbusters.
staple.
Some dock supervisor downtown just called.
Better late than never.
They said the Scooby-Doo guy just arrived.
They steal the book, they drive away, they get fucked up. They eat some hay.
What do you say? Make something out of clay?
I just may. Listen to what I say.
Real pay.
Exactly. Animation is superb in this. It's a thing I keep bringing up, but I just love how good it looks. Mm-hmm. And you can tell that it's animated in Japan once you see Ben Ravencroft jumping around and doing anime character shit, and literally jumping down fucking with a knee up and shit and landing. It's animated. It's just really good. I like it.
It's a nice balance between old and new animation and East meets West and stuff. Yeah, you like that, don't you?
You gonna say the O word?
No?
What? What O word?
Boogie's giving himself a blow.
What O word?
What?
What O word?
What?
Okay.
Tolls.
Jesus Christ. Can't say anything around here. I'm gonna go to hell when I die. I'm gonna go to hell when I die.
Boogie's penis is clean.
He's been
He
looking
just
at it for an
came
hour.
I was like, what did you just...
He was making a lot of noise about it.
Did you get a job as a dog moil?
He just finished putting on his makeup. He's finished his cosplay. He's ready to go.
He did that without getting aroused.
He did.
The book basically eats the witch after Thorne, Sally McKnight, since she's an actual pagan, or Wiccan, I guess.
She's a descendant
can
of one
use
of them. Yeah.
the powers of the book, so...
Yeah, that's the big plot twist there, is it?
And they
She's the
get
descendant.
eternally fucked.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love how the witch grabs...
Yeah, she drags him to hell.
Yeah, basically. That's like the influence there, too. Like, Sam Raimi watches and is like, God damn, that's brilliant.
And then the Hex Girls play another song.
Fuck yeah, they do.
Hell yeah.
So do they like play songs in other movies? Can you put together like a
I
whole...
haven't seen them all.
Oh.
I was going to say...
I just recently learned that they were in more than this, to be honest.
Do they got a mixtape here we can jam
Yeah,
all
they
the tunes
got
to?
like an album's worth of songs.
I hope so.
I'll have to check it out. If you know more than we
There's
do...
only covers of their stuff on Spotify, and I'm like, I want the original. But either way, I love Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. It's fucking iconic. One of my favorite animated Scooby-Doo movies. Top 5 for sure.
Well, I don't even have a top 5.
Well, I guess
because
we
haven't
could
seen
do a
enough of the
top
animated
5
movies.
Scooby-Doo movies.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen... There's a lot that I'm not interested in, but like... Because they started just pumping them out yearly, and it was kind of like okay, well...
And they did all the collaboration ones, too, like Scooby-Doo meets the Harlem Globetrotters.
Well, those ones, the original ones, were called... The show is called the Scooby-Doo movies. But they were just hour-long episodes, usually.
I'm pretty
They
sure
weren't
there's a
actual
new
movies.
Scooby-Doo meets Batman on
Yeah,
HBO
they
Max.
started
I need to
doing
check
new
it
ones
out.
as well. Like the Kiss one is a newer one, but fuck Kiss.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Why did they do a new one with Kiss?
They did the Courage the Cowardly Dog one, which is awesome.
Yeah, that was
we,
good.
We
That was
watched and
fun.
reviewed that. Or did we review
Yeah.
it? I know we watched it.
Yeah, that was like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. One or
Oh,
the other.
I think that came
year
out
at
last year,
most.
didn't it? Yeah.
So.
I can't remember.
All right, so
Speaking
we've
of
got
top 5s,
we got a top 5 for
Yeah.
you here.
Top 5 Goosebumps stories, which could include the episodes or the... I mean, the episodes are based on the book, so it's really... It just depends. Sometimes you like one, you don't like the other, I guess.
Yeah. I'm going strictly all on books.
Books?
All that I've read. Yep.
Well, I've read these ones and watched the episodes.
I'm not participating because I didn't really
I
know
own
much about
4 of the
these, so.
books on my list.
I don't have any of them. I need to ask her mom what the hell she did with all of them. I think she gave them away or something.
Damn right she did. She gave everything away.
Hey, speaking of that, I talked to her last night when she saw my collection of toys on display at the house when she was over. And I was like, this is your fault. I was like, had you not sold my Real Ghostbusters Firehouse to somebody else? She's like, you didn't play with it anymore. I was like, that was Batman's Batcave because it was the only playset I ever had. That was also the Ninja Turtle sewer and above ground and skyscraper. That was my one-size-fits-all playset.
New York building for Spider-Man. Fucking anything.
Yeah, and she sold it to somebody for a dollhouse.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I told her that. I was like, you created this monster. Now you got to walk around my toy store.
Well, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is the last Goosebumps book I ever bought. Because they were finished with the regular
Did you
line
buy it
version.
from the bookmobile at school?
I used to do the order forms. You'd go and order it, and
yeah.
they'd
The
send it back.
Scholastic.
Yeah. Book fairs, yeah. Escape from the Carnival of Horror, which is one of the choose your own adventure ones.
I wasn't a fan of those because too often it would just like
You're dead.
flip to the end of the book. Yeah, and you're dead. And I'm like, okay, so I just have to go back and read the other part now.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it was like choose from 20 different endings, and like you got to read them all. And,
They
like,
were
figure
all
out
like,
which
you
one.
died this way, you died this way. And it was
Dysentery.
not my thing.
Yeah. I had fun with the first one. I didn't read any more after that, but it was also I was kind of getting out of the books at the time, and I was like, I'll try this one, something a little different. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Attack of the Jack-o'-lanterns, number 48.
Show
Look
the
at the
camera.
artwork of that.
Show the kids at home.
I'm going to show them. I'm showing you first.
I never read that one.
It's like motherfuckers think they're going to wear pumpkins around and then they're fucking fuckery and there's actual flames in them and shit.
Pumpkin
So
power.
they all become the Ghost Rider?
Basically.
The Ghost Rider family? I like it.
Your next pick?
My number 4 is Attack of the Mutant. So that one's a pretty fun story about a kid that's really big into comics and stuff, and
A mutant attacks.
basically kind of gets into this comic book world. So it was a pretty good mashup. Kind of reminded me of Last Action Hero to a degree, and I think that's why I like that book so much. It's fun.
My number 4 is the number 24, Phantom of the Auditorium. It's obviously a reference to Phantom of the Opera, but there's also a Disney Channel original movie called Phantom of the Megaplex that this reminds me of.
Nice.
And I was always into that, so fun artwork. Iconic.
My number 3, because I read this one before the original, was Return of the Mummy. It was fun. Kind of has that original, like, Universal Monsters vibes, some of these. And Return of the Mummy I read before I read Curse of the Mummy or whatever it was. And they're both good books, but I like the Return a little bit better just because I read it first and it stuck with me more than the original. Which is strange for a sequel, because some of these have sequels.
Yeah, a lot. Well, there's a couple series for sure. My number 3 is the first Monster Blood, which is number 3.
Oh.
Monster Blood is fucking amazing.
Yes, there's also a series. And that one's just kind of like a guy gets some Monster Blood slime from a store, takes it home, and it keeps growing and does really fucked up nasty shit.
It almost has like the Blob vibes to some degree.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a fun read.
Is this a shared universe where some characters are in more than one, or?
I don't think he ever went that route, but that'd be kind of fascinating.
I'm not sure.
I don't recall any of that, but I haven't read any of these since I
Some
was a
characters
kid
return in the sequels, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
My number 2 was The Werewolf of Fever Swamp. Part of that is because it was nostalgic. I was staying at her grandma's house.
Grandma.
The VHS of that is on the TV behind us.
Yeah, but I flew up to visit our grandma that time, and she bought me some books when we got there, so I'd have some stuff to read when I was staying at her place, and so that was one of the books I read staying there. But it's a fun one. Little swamp story about a wolf.
Yeah.
Werewolf.
My
That's
number
where you
2
find them.
is probably most people's number 1, The Haunted Mask.
Oh.
A classic. It's probably the most iconic Goosebumps story, book,
Why?
show, episode. Because it's fucking epic. She gets this mask, and it basically won't come off, and it starts to, like, mutate to her, it seems, you know? Mm-hmm. And there's Haunted Mask 2 and 3 at least.
That's my number 1, just because it's a really good read, but then when it came out, that was like the first episode of the... Was that a movie or the TV series? I can't remember.
It's a TV series.
But it was the first episode they released, and they hyped the fuck out of it. And actually, it was pretty good.
Is it the first episode?
Well, that's the first one I recall seeing. I think it was the first one, though.
It's the most iconic, so that's why it's kind of like... I have that one on VHS as well. That one and the werewolf one are up there.
Nice.
Well, my number 1 is One Day at Horrorland,
Oh, okay.
Whores.
which is a very fun one where this family is trying to get to a theme park, like Wally World type thing, and they can't find it, but they're on this dirt road and they see signs for Horrorland, and they're like, well, fuck it, we'll just go here. And it's like mostly deserted, and there's like one of the rides is a fucking, you get in a coffin and slide and lay down and you go down a stream and shit. And at one point the fucking like lid closes on them and shit.
Nice.
And they
And-
drown.
Yeah. I don't
That's
know.
awesome.
That's one of my faves. The episode is really good, and so are, I think it's a 2-part episode, actually.
Are they live action? The TV show?
Yeah.
R.L. Stein just fucking was
They're
pumping these
on
things out.
some streaming service, because I was watching some the other day.
But I mean,
Nostalgia.
for kids' books, though, a lot of these are actually really well done,
Oh, yeah.
and they hold up, so... For that nostalgia value.
Throw one up here a little more.
Yeah, there you go.
Right in front of Elvira.
Did you read any of these or anything?
I might have
similar?
read one or something, but I remember all the kids being obsessed with them, but I just didn't get into it.
It was a Scholastic Book Fair, man. Like, everyone was like trying to fucking fight and compete over who had the best collection.
Yeah, it was one of the coolest book series of our childhood.
I remember I had some, and my older sister had some, and so it was always like trying to get the most numerical in order, so we'd always be fucking stealing them back and forth to put on the bookshelf just to look better than the other person. Kind of some weird bullshit, you know, sibling
Fuckery.
rivalry bullshit. That was in the good times, before the dark times, before
Before
the
the
empire.
Empire.
Well, I guess that's about it for today.
Yeah. Jump on social media. Make sure you like and follow us if you're not already. We've got very nice t-shirts in the shop. Oh, one other quick announcement on here I'll say is we still have some of the World's Fair coins available, but since my wife is expecting a baby, I'm going to have these up for sale for a few more weeks.
I don't have a good soundbite that's for that.
We're going to restock those, and I'll probably cut off sales here around just before Halloween. So if you were looking for one of those as a holiday gift, do that before I run out of time to
Fund his baby.
fund the baby, but fund the just get them out of the house. They're taking up space.
How much space could they be taking? Their coins.
They're not. It's just a box.
Also, hit up my PayPal at ACW91. Just send me some cash.
Pay Alex rent.
Yeah.
Basically, because,
Pay my utilities.
Keep his lights on. If you want to see
Make this motherfucker's place into Motel
these
6.
lights on.
yeah.
Was it Motel 6 to keep the light on? I think
That's what I just said.
I don't think that's Motel 6, is it?
Motel 6. We'll keep the light on. I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
We stayed at Motel 6 on the way to Chicago.
Chicago.
Now we're just rambling.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And speaking of that, that reminds me of Chris Farley talking about Chicago. So go to rotten.com and look up his
Chicago.
bloated corpse pictures.
Oh my God.
If you haven't done that
Not
lately.
Chris Farley.
Yeah, Chris Farley bloated on coke. Dead.
Is Rotten.com still there?
I don't fucking know. I haven't been.
Oh, God.
If you still go to rotten.com.
Looks like I
let me
got to
know.
edit now.
No, it doesn't.
No.
No, you need to go check it out and see it. If you haven't seen it, it's
Why
highly
would you
recommended.
like telling people to do that?
Because I'm looking at Three Ninjas and I'm also thinking Beverly Hills.
I mean, if
word association. Man.
when I go to rotten.com, the first thing I do is unzip my pants. Anyway,
All over the place.
yeah, basically, you clean up right after that. It cleans up real nice.
well, that's what you have to do.
So, anyway, that was today's Haunted by Tape, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. Let us know what you thought of that. Go to our Patreon and subscribe. It's like $3 a month. You can get a bunch of commentaries. We just put up our Nightmare on Elm Street commentary.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's what I
Yeah,
said.
learn about my
man.
childhood trauma.
Yeah, it's sorted under the A's.
I know. No. When you alphabetize, you don't start with the A.
Not necessarily.
You
Depends
start with
on
the
who you
N.
are, Nick.
I'm
Suck my fucking
talking
dick.
about libraries
You're
in the official way.
Libraries do not... I'm not a fucking library. I'm a goddamn video store.
This is a video store.
I think video stores did that too.
I don't know. It really
they
depends.
sorted by genre.
And you don't go by those.
They'd
words.
usually put them all in
sometimes.
order if there were sequels that had just Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, but sequel, sure.
Okay. Well, either way, make sure you join and listen to our bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
There's more.
More bullshit.
Fuckery.